Greetings, traders. Zach here from the Trading Network. Hope you guys are doing well and that you had a nice weekend. I am back with yet another weekly market profile forecast, and this time we are going to start off with some NQ. And I will dig into the weekly profile first, and then I'll kind of dig into some of the session profiles, a bit more granular levels. But generally speaking, I'm just going to be talking about some major inflection points moving forward this week. The areas that I will be looking at, kind of a larger time frame or longer time frame line of the sand levels for both ES and NQ. So let us dive right in. First and foremost, I want to point out that we are operating right around last week's point of control at 12,422. So generally speaking, I would say that the levels from last week that I discussed in my forecast as well are still valid. You know, this 12.2K area is going to be very important. And last week I was discussing how if we move and held above these levels right here, how likely it was that we were going to move up into this naked POC, and that is exactly what we did. So I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, to see another pullback and a retest of that area. And if it confirms as support, perhaps that can create some good liquidity for us to move back to this prior naked POC and to retest last week's highs. So I would say that our major line in the sand level, if we do start to move down, is going to be 12.2K. However, if we hang around in this area, especially above, 12.3K or 12,350, then I would really use last week's point of control as a major area as well. You can see that this 384 level, which is the value area low from the weekly profile of June 6th, that's another important area. So I suppose that you could kind of view this area as a zone, right? So just draw a little zone between 422 and 384 and consider if that breaks, that increases the probability of us moving back down into these levels quite a bit. And then we want to watch reaction here to see if buyers step in there. And if so, maybe just another move back to 422, test that. And again, if we move above that, back into our higher levels. So I would be watching this area. First and foremost, this is the most immediate area to keep your eye on. Call it 12,350 to 12,420. And if that breaks, look for some selling pressure back into these levels. If this holds, I would look for a more immediate move back into 12.6K and possibly higher. And of course, if we move and hold above last week's high at 12.7K, I would look for moves to 12,844, 12,938, and ultimately this high naked POC at 13,123 as well. So looking over into the session profiles, you can see that we also do have a naked point of control from a session profile perspective down at 12,239, which does support the idea that we move back down to the 12.2K area, retest, and then see if we can get some support and some buyers to step in there. If not, on a more granular level, I would look for moves into 12,180, 12,137, 12,063, and then ultimately down into the lows from the July 19th profile right below 12K. With that said, we've got a ways to go, and we've got some work to do before we get down to these levels. This is going to be a very, very important area, especially because there's a naked POC there. So keep an eye out for reaction, especially to Friday's lows. 12,343 on a session profile basis, 12,328. That is the high from the July 19th, same session where that naked POC is coming from. So those are some major areas as well. So most immediately on a session profile level, if we break Friday's low, either in the overnight or more importantly, in my opinion, in the New York session tomorrow, we could get a move into that naked POC pretty darn quickly in tomorrow's session. So look for that, watch for a reaction there. If we get there, could offer up some good trade opportunity. On the flip side, if we do hold this area, if we do hold Friday's low, look for moves back into Friday's value area high, the overnight low from Thursday into Friday's session at 12,523, and then ultimately higher into these levels, prior highs from our most recent sessions. So that is kind of the deal with NQ. It's a pretty simple if-then scenario in regards to if we break Friday's low, look for a move down to this naked POC from the 19th and watch a reaction there. If we hold above Friday's low and Thursday's low, look for moves into these higher levels, of course, which I have marked off. And that's about it. So I think that we can go ahead and move into the ES weekly profile. And, you know, one thing I will go back and notate as well on NQ is that we do have this monthly volume composite POC here at 11,816. So, you know, that's a level to keep an eye out for, of course, if we break the low from last week. All right, so now let's move on to ES. So on ES, let's just point this out first and foremost as well. We have a monthly volume POC right here around 3850-ish. So most immediately, 3950 is a very important level in my eyes, as this is the weekly high from the June 27th weekly profile. This is also the weekly POC from last week, 3952.75 to be precise. And you can see we also have a lot of weekly highs in this area. So look for this area to get some reaction. If 3920, 3930 can't hold, look for a bit of a larger move down into 3880 and into 3860, 3850, where this prior POC from the week of July 11th is, as well as the monthly volume point of control. On the upside, if we can hold above 3950, remain above that, it's going to increase the probability significantly of us moving into the 4016 level, which is the high from last week. You can see we've got a value area low from the week of June 6th up at 4021, just above that as well. So this is a naked POC that a lot of people have been looking at, and I think a lot of longs are actually trapped from looking for this close of the gap, if you will, last week. So it's possible, just like I was talking about on NQ, that we do get a bit of a push down to rinse out some late longs that were looking for this move before we move back up. So definitely keep that in mind. Keep that, I would say, at the forefront of your plan. I'm going to have it at the forefront of my plan moving into the beginning of the week, especially because if we do get a test, I will be looking for longs first and foremost until this area breaks. And of course, if it breaks, then I'll be looking likely for a short into this 3860th level. But honestly, I'm just going to be playing it level by level and watching the reaction in these areas, because that's the most that we can do until price gets there. You know, we know that these are major areas of interest to keep an eye on, but it's very important to not blindly trade these levels, even though we know they're major levels, right? It's important to keep an open mind and understand that any one of these major levels can be broken at any time. All it takes is more buyers and sellers, or more sellers and buyers. And we have to watch the reaction. We have to use our other tools like moving averages and momentum oscillators and Fibonacci pivots and maybe even opening range indicators, things of that nature, to give us a more well-rounded view of what's going on at these levels so we can have the highest probability trade opportunity in our favor. So I just wanted to say that. I don't want to go on too much of a tangent there, but it's important to watch these levels. You know, at the very, very basic level, no pun intended, if you guys are new to the channel, if you guys are new to Market Profile, mark off these levels. Just copy them, you know, copy these major weekly levels if you'd like. Copy my session levels as well from my trade plans that I release in the morning for free in our Facebook group, and watch reaction there. Purely marking off of the levels and watching the reaction will be extremely beneficial to train your mind to the patterns that price creates, the patterns that price repeats often, that you can take advantage of at these market profile levels. So moving back to the key levels and kind of my closing analysis on ES, my thought is if we can hold this 3950, 3930-ish area, that we're likely going to get a retest of last week's high more immediately. If we break these levels, I would look for a move back into 3860 and watch reaction there. Could be a good opportunity for longs if we see some good evidence that buyers are stepping in. You know, we start making higher highs, higher lows, especially on higher tick charts, things like that. And if we do hold here, you know, it's going to open up opportunity for longs back into last week's level. If we hold these higher levels, again, look for moves to 21.74, and then ultimately this naked POC up at 41.19. But again, just stay fluid. Make sure that you keep an open mind with these levels, and there's no trade opportunity until price goes there and shows us reaction. So that is the most important thing to keep in mind when you're utilizing market profile analysis. So with all of that said, I hope this has been a helpful video. I hope you guys are enjoying these forecasts coming back. And just to kind of hammer into the session profile real quick again, not as impactful as far as naked POCs on the session profile. We have one down here at 3750-ish, so we've got, it's 200 points away, so we've got some work to do, just like I was talking about on NQ. We have to break through these levels and see some pretty strong selling pressure through this 3860 level. But if we do, that's where I would be looking on a more immediate session profile level. Notate that we have this naked POC at 3757.50 to be precise. But again, don't get too bearish too quick, because we must watch reaction. We can see buyers step in. If they do, then look for retest of these higher levels from Friday. This is Friday's high, Thursday's high, and Wednesday's high there. So keep that in mind. And again, just to reiterate one last time, we've got the naked POC on the weekly at 4119. So major level. If we break 4016, that's going to increase probability significantly that we visit that level. So I will wrap the video up here. If you guys have any questions about my analysis, please let me know. If you have any comments, as always, please feel free to leave them down below. If you have questions about joining the trading network, joining our private community, please check out theTradingNetwork.io, where you can, of course, find information on one-on-one mentorship with me. You can also purchase access to the Fundamentals of Futures Trading, which is our course that discusses multiple market condition strategies. We have a trending strategy and we have a ranging strategy that we discuss, and it also goes over my indicators as well. If you guys would like to purchase the standalone proprietary indicator package, that is also available on the website, in addition to standalone access to our private Discord, lifetime access, I will mention. And you can get all of these products together in a package, even for a payment plan as well, to make it a bit easier on the wallet. So again, any questions, you know where to find me. I'm here to help any way I can, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Much love.